One of the many awesome features of the Titan ecosystem is the built-in 3-channel motor driver used for lens control. Of course, with that, you're using some kind of external motor like our own Motocrane LCM, or another motor that we're compatible with like a Preston DM2, Hedon M21, M26, Red Rock, etc. But what about lenses that come with their own servo unit from the manufacturer, like this Canon Servo 25-250, the Duvo 14-100, or the popular Cabrio, or the Canon HJ14 used by broadcasters around the world? Well, that's where our new accessory comes into play, which is SLC, or Servo Lens Controller, which allows for native control of Canon and Fujinon zoom lenses directly through the Titan controller. On SLC, you'll find a couple of status lights there, and then a cam in port for connecting it to the gimbal, and then also an output for zoom and for focus for connecting to the servo unit on the lens. Along with SLC, we have a ton of different cabling options that are compatible with all the different flavors of Canon and Fujinon servo units, whether it's 8-pin or 12-pin or 20-pin with Canon. We have all the cables needed for whatever servo you're using. Mounting and operation of SLC is simple. We're first going to roll this LT 90 degrees to gain access to the base bar, and you'll notice that SLC is designed around the same shape as the LT base bar. So it looks like just a nice low-profile expansion of the existing I/O on the bottom of your LT. And now with this over the 1/4-20 mounting holes, we're just going to thread this in. Now that SLC is mechanically mounted, we're going to plug it in. And first one is going to be our short cam jumper cable, where we're going to go from the cam port on LT to the cam in port on SLC. We can see that we get our green and our blue lights, which means that it's powered, and it's also communicating with LT. The next cable that you plug in is going to be specific to the lens that you're using. In this case, this is a Canon 20-pin, which has both zoom and focus control on a common 20-pin connector here. And then we have those broken out into our zoom and our focus on this side. And of course, those are labeled. So I'll feed this cable through the cage where it's going to plug into the servo unit on the zoom. And then we'll plug the zoom and the focus ports in on SLC. So we got SLC mounted. Now we'll get it back into a normal working pose and configured in the Titan controller. On the Titan controller, we're going to navigate to the Fizz page, and you'll see a new button down here for SLC. We press that, we can now navigate to a new screen that's specifically for the Servo Lens Controller. We can see the status of SLC, whether or not it's connected in the top right corner, and the firmware version that's loaded on. We can also see the status of both the zoom and the focus channels independently, and if they're connected, and whether or not it's a Canon or Fujinon, and if it is a focus or a zoom channel. So we do have an auto detect circuit on SLC that populates those automatically, so you don't have to worry about that for configuration. So now that we have SLC plugged in and confirmed that everything is connected, we can map the functionality just like we would anything else on the Titan controller. So we're going to go to System, and then Channel Mapping. And now in this case, I want my zoom to be on this rocker here on the controller, and I want my focus to be on this knob. So I'm going to click on channel 7, which corresponds to this knob, and instead of putting it on focus, I'm actually going to go to SLC focus. So this is a new menu option when you get into the channel mapping that when SLC is plugged in, it's going to give you. And then the same action for zoom on that rocker, I'm going to go to SLC zoom. And now with those plugged in, you'll see I now have zoom control there. So you can see that's rotating between 25 and 250 on our Canon 25-250 Cine Servo. And then of course I have focus control as well. With SLC, Titan and LT become great options for broadcast and live event coverage work, where a single operator needs to have pan, tilt, and roll control over the gimbal, as well as full camera and lens control of something like a broadcast zoom. If you think that sounds good for your kind of work, make sure you get in touch. We'd love to talk about your application and make sure we can support you. Thanks for watching.